Super pumped to be with you because we got Curtis Shaver in studio, one of my homies, guys, executive chef at Hamilton's Restaurant. I'm going to run the gambit and talk everything with C. Shaver. We're going to talk chef life. We're going to talk his business aspirations. We're going to talk chef life after work, the girls. We're going to talk about the partying. Anything goes on Jerry Miller Now. Alright guys, I'm excited about this one. One of my boys here, groomsman in my wedding, Curtis Shaver, the executive chef at Hamilton's at 1st and Main on the Charlottesville DowntownMall. One of my favorite things to do is be this guy's PR guy and hype him. He's a modest dude, so I'm going to take it from him. Executive chef at one of the best restaurants, Hamilton's. Was executive chef at a very young age. We'll talk about that story. Really has built an incredible brand for himself as a guy that's been able to take kind of like that farm to table concept and make it a reality, not only from a deliciousness standpoint and a menu execution standpoint, but from running a strong kitchen from a monetarily standpoint as well. He was also a dual chef showdown winner. He beat Reggie Calhoun in fairly convincing fashion. An avid mountain biker, and an aspiring entrepreneur. We'll get to that. He's not going to like me covering that, so we're going to get to that. Curtis, you brought us a sandwich. We'll talk about that in a second. This is what I want to throw to you here, is people like you in Charlottesville, and they like you as Curtis Shaver, you know, the human, and they respect you as Curtis Shaver, the executive chef. Let's talk that first. How have you gotten to this point? You're a young man. How have you gotten to this point as executive chef at one of the best restaurants in Charlottesville?
Well, I'm originally from upstate New York. I went to culinary school in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, at Pennsylvania Culinary. And from there I spent some time up in upstate New York at Niagara Falls at a banquet house. I was there for about a year and a half. Moved back home, was the sous chef at a restaurant in my hometown that I worked at before for a number of years. And then I moved to Ithaca, and that's where I met Craig Hartman at Cornell University, and worked at Cornell with him for about 3 years. And then when he moved down here to become the executive chef at Keswick Hall, he called me up and asked me to come down and be one of his sous chefs. So that was back in 2007.
How old were you then?
2007, it was 10 years ago, so I was 24.
So you go from upstate New York in Ithaca and Cornell, and you're partying, you're working hard, you're having a good time. Brooks Tanner was with you at Cornell.
Yeah,
we'll get to Brooks in a second.
Yeah.
So, I mean, 24-year-old going from upstate to New York to Charlottesville, Virginia, how freaking scary was that for you?
It was a little bit scary, but I was at the point at Cornell where I really wasn't going to go anywhere farther. Like, the only position I had left to go up was one of my good buddies, Anthony Jordan, and he wasn't really going to go anywhere. So, and he told me, you know, it's like time for you to move on, like time to grow. Like, you know, it's like the whole, you know, big fish, little pond. You know, you need to get into a bigger pond. And so I took his advice, and I was moved down here to work with Craig, so I was already familiar with who I was going to work with. So it wasn't. It was a little bit nerve-wracking coming down here and not knowing anybody.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, I just went to work and, you know, made friends through work and whatnot.
And now you went into Keswick Hall, which is a very, you know, interesting beast. You're trying to appease members. You're trying to appease guests.
Yeah.
You're trying to appease golfers, people chilling by the pool, people expecting fine dining, yet people concerned about approachability. I mean, that must have been work your balls off type of job. Yeah,
it was. I mean, it was definitely, you know, 6 days a week.
6 days.
6 days a week, 10-hour days, you know. You know, as I was working there, I became the banquet chef, so I didn't really deal with a lot of, like, the members and the golfers, but, you know, doing all, like, you know, when Philip Morris would come in for the week and, you know, they'd have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you know, for a week, I was there doing that. You know, the big holidays, you know, doing 300-400 people for Christmas and Thanksgiving, and being there at 5:30 in the morning just to get those big buffets set up. You know, it was a lot of work, and but I learned a lot, and you know, and I'm glad I was there for the time I was there. But when it was time for me to go, it was time for me to go.
Craig Hartman pulls you from Cornell in Ithaca to Keswick Hall. Craig Hartman, as you guys know, BBQ Exchange owner, man behind there. He's got a behemoth in Gordonsville at BBQ Exchange. I mean, put in perspective what Craig Hartman means to you and what Craig Hartman means to the culinary scene in Central Virginia and Charlottesville.
I mean, Craig is definitely, he's my mentor chef, and he's obviously the reason why I'm down here, and I always give him credit for that, for bringing me down here. And really kind of like believing in me and jump-starting my career, and I think he's done that with a lot of people in this town.
Who else?
Melissa Close, Amalia Scatina, Billy Scatina,
Christian Kelly,
Lee Hendrickson, you know.
Tucker Yoder?
Yeah, I think that they know each other.
Followed him at Clifton?
He came in after Craig was at Clifton, I believe. Well, I think there was maybe somebody in between there. I'm not 100% sure that dynamic. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely tons of people in this town that have, you know, are part of that Craig Hartman culinary tree.
Cool, cool. And I think Craig Hartman, you know, and this is going to circle back to you, I think he was ahead of the game from an entrepreneurial and vision standpoint in that he went from fine dining to BBQ Exchange, fast casual approachability. I mean, it seems like that is where the food scene is going.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's difficult these days to do fine dining. I think, you know, there's some people who do it really well. You know, Angelo over at IVN does it really well.
Hamilton's
does it well as well. But like, you know, there's just, you can only have so many of those restaurants in a town this size, basically. You know what I mean? Because, you know, the people who want to go to those restaurants are, you want to go for, you know, birthdays, anniversaries, different celebrations, graduations, and things like that. And so, and you know, it's hard to, like, people don't have the time these days to, like, sit down and have, like, 3-4 course meals, you know, and wine and all that.
Maybe not the disposable income.
Or the income, exactly, that too, you know. So time and money is also a factor into that, so.
You go from a solid run at Keswick Hall where you were working as hard as you've ever worked in your life. What are the next steps that leads you to executive chef at Hamilton's?
So I left Keswick Hall to become the sous chef at Dooner's.
Love that restaurant.
Yeah, it's a great restaurant. And I had a great time there. I learned a lot. The menu was huge, so it taught me a lot about making, you know, changing up the menu frequently, because they always like to change the menu up, and just like time management and just like in organizational skills on, you know, your station, because the station was, the menu's massive there, and so, which is a good thing, but you know, it's a lot of work for the line cooks. And so that was good. I was there for about a year, and then the opportunity at Hamilton's arose, and so I went for it. And
was that sous chef?
Where?
At Hamilton's?
No, it was executive chef.
Okay.
It was when Jeanette Peabody was getting ready to leave and have her first child.
Okay.
So they were looking for an executive chef. And so I put my name in the hat, and they called me, and I went through 4 different interviews and a tasting.
Sweet. With
them. Met the Hamiltons, met Greg and Daniel a couple times, and eventually landed the job.
Yeah, and one of the things I love about Hamilton's, besides the food, is it seems to have such a good family feel.
Absolutely,
I mean, Greg and Daniel almost seem to live there. They're there constantly. Bill and Kate really give Greg and Daniel, who are their minority partners in the restaurant, they give them a lot of autonomy to run the restaurant, which I have a lot of respect as a boss myself, that Bill and Kate can do that. And then they in turn give you a ton of leash and latitude in the kitchen.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's one of the, you know, the biggest things of why I've stayed with the Hamiltons for so long and will continue to stay with them, is because of the family atmosphere and just like the encouragement and the respect to allow you to do your job and not get in your way and be like overly top managing people. And you know, they trust in myself and Bill and Irving, Daniel and Greg to do, you know, to run their restaurant, and it's a great place to work.
You I mean, you were extremely talented. I think everyone in Charlottesville knows how talented you are as a chef. On top of that, you know, and this is me catching the heat. This is not you catching the heat here. On top of that, you know, most executive chefs have aspirations of running their own joint and owning their own joint.
Yep.
I think, you know, part of it is my fault. This is one of the worst kept secrets in Charlottesville. Curtis Shaver is going to be opening his own restaurant. Bill Hamilton, this is Jerry Miller doing this right here. This is Jerry Miller doing this right here. We have a sandwich in front of us, And you brought this as an icebreaker here. I mean, you dabble with the sandwiches with the Sandwich Lab. The Sandwich Lab brand that you ran out of Hamilton's. You would do, what, 25 sandwiches?
Yeah.
And these things would sell out in 30 minutes.
Less than that, usually.
Crazy.
Like 10, 15 minutes they would sell out.
And you've always loved sandwiches, so let's just cut to the chase here. The concept is a sandwich-based concept, okay? I think we should give it a plug here, and this is me doing it, this is not him. Peloton Station. Peloton Station is the concept, okay? A sandwich-focused, bicycle-centric sports bar that I think is a freaking brilliant idea. Approachable. You love sandwiches. I mean, give me something here. Give me something.
I mean, I always said I would never leave Hamilton's unless I was going to open my own place. And so it just kind of came to fruition that, you know, Bill had the same idea that we do something else, and Bill loves doing those kind of things. You know, he helped open Sticks, he helped open Gear Hearts, Mas Guapos, Seasoning. You know, he just loves to like help people who have worked for him aspire and make their dreams come true. Like, you know, opening a restaurant or opening a chocolate shop. You know what I mean? And so I talked to him about, you know, opening up a concept, and he said, all right, let's put pen to paper and figure it out. And so here we are, you know, a year later, I'm getting close to opening something. It's nothing's confirmed yet, so.
Yeah, well, it's close. It's close right there. This is what I love about, and I'm giving Bill some props here. This is what I love about Bill, is Hamilton's Restaurant is a successful business. That is one of the best restaurants in Charlottesville, that's safe to say. But it's also like a AAA farm system. You know, like a farm system for producing talent. Yeah. And as that talent matures and finds its oats, I mean, wasn't Ty Austin of Sticks fame, wasn't he a server at Hamilton's? And Tim Gerhardt was the pastry chef at Hamilton's, and now he's Gerhardt's Chocolate. I mean, put that in perspective. I mean, how is he nurturing so much talent from Hamilton's and making it into other businesses?
I mean, I think it just goes back to just the person that Bill is, and how, you know, caring and kind-hearted, and, you know, willing to, you know, show that appreciation again, and like willing to give back to the people who work for him and
busted their tails.
Yeah, and help him with his own business venture, and want to give back and like help him aspire to make their own business ventures. Talk
to us about the approachability aspect of what you like. I mean, you love sandwiches.
Right.
You know, you were influenced by some, you know, we've talked about some of the sandwich influences you had here. But I mean, I like your idea because it's affordable, it's approachable, it's fast casual, it's got the other piece, the bicycle piece to it. We know the bicycle community in Charlottesville is rabid, ridiculous, and huge. It's got the sports bar piece, the craft bar beer piece. Dude, I mean, this is going to be like my favorite joint here.
Yeah, I mean, the whole idea is basically based on like hanging out in your buddy's garage like we used to do, and just drinking beers and wrenching on bikes, and like
barbershop talk.
Yeah. Just like, you know, when you go to the shop and, you know, you need to get your bike repaired or a tire fixed or whatnot, and you're like, all right, well, give me a half hour, 45 minutes to do that, and like, what are you going to do? Why not capture that market and say, hey, why don't you go sit down at the bar and have a beer and grab a bite to eat, and we'll let you know when your bike's ready. And so that's just kind of how the concept. It's always been like an idea of like a place that I would want to hang out in.
Totally.
You know, where there's good beer, good food. It's, you know, you can come as you are. It doesn't matter what you're wearing. You want to come in your bicycle kit, cool. You know, like you want to come in, you know, flip-flop, sandals. You know,
love it.
You know,
approachable.
Yeah, definitely approachable, and like, nobody should feel like they're out of place there, you know, even if you don't even bicycle, you know, like, just, it still should be a good, fun atmosphere for you to come in and see the bikes and see all the guys who are avid about cycling and like what they're doing, and watch the mechanics work on bikes, and like even learn, you know, have classes there that, you know, teach people how to like change a flat tire. You know?
Love it. Love it.
Like that.
Peloton Station, and the significance of Peloton, you taught me this, is the group of riders that are grouped together to manage wind resistance better. They can draft each other. So you find a group at Peloton Station, a group of customers. I love the concept. I like the partners that you have working where Bill Hamilton's reputation speaks for itself. So does your reputation. Interesting location, potentially 14th Street, that I think you guys could be in some ways what Beer Run was to that Belmont Hogwaller area is what Peloton Station could be to that 14th Street area.
Oh, it's 10th Street.
10th Street, sorry, 10th Street, yeah. I mean, you could build the market.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what everybody is hoping, that, you know, that is involved in that location being where we're going in is, you know, anywhere from the landlord, you know, down to us, like, that's kind of what we want to happen in that location. They're redeveloping that whole area, and they want, you know, a nice cornerstone restaurant to go in there. We feel like we can fit that bill for them.
What's the hardest thing about being a chef?
Time management between work and personal life, I think, is the hardest thing about being a chef.
So you're saying because you're working weekends and nights, it's hard to keep a relationship?
Hard to keep a relationship, hard to even, you know, even whether it being like a personal relationship or a relationship with friends, and like finding time to hang out with them. You know, seeing your family, like, you know, that work on, you know, you got to work on holidays, you know, getting away time to go see, you know, friends and family, like, and just general, like, mental well-being, you know, and that balance in life is important for chefs, and I think a lot of chefs struggle with that. It's just because that's the lifestyle kind of that you get involved into because you're working nights, weekends. Basically, like, I always, you know, it's a lot of stress, there's a lot of heat, and then when you're getting out of work, like, your happy hour is when everybody else's party time is. So it's really easy to fall into that, like, you know, it's 10, 11 o'clock at night, just got done with work, I might as well go get a beer and a shot somewhere, you know what I mean? And a lot of chefs, you know, there's a lot of them out there that struggle with, you know, different types of addiction, and it's just kind of, you know, it's in our, like, what we, you know, what we're part of, and like what, like, it's hard to get away from, basically, is what I'm trying to say. It's like, because it's just always so prevalent, and there's a lot of chefs out there who have, you know, swore things off and became, you know, straight edge chefs, like Christian Kelly. You know, that's a prime example, and he's, you know, he's doing a great job, and like,
our boy Christian Kelly, my executive chef and co-owner. Christian Kelly's the man.
Yeah,
love him.
Yeah, I love Christian Kelly too, and I mean, he's definitely a role model for chefs who are, you know, kind of battling that, you know, that balance in their life, and like, you know, there are chefs out there who don't party and rage all the time. It's just kind of like the lifestyle, I guess, you know, that you fall into as being in the industry, in the restaurant industry.
One of the things that I truly admire about you, and I legitimately mean admire here, is you are so freaking dedicated to the job. I mean, you can party harder than anyone I know. And you literally can. You know that's true. You can get after it and get after it till sunrise. But you do not miss a shift. You do not miss, you were there when they need you. I mean, it's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of comes from, you know, back in the day when I was originally first, you know, coming up, being, you know, a prep cook or line cook, and like, you know, like the chefs I had back then, like, they didn't care what you did the night before, you know, and if you came in hungover to work, your job was to be on the grill all day, you know, grilling vegetables for a party of 250 people, and like just sweat it out, and it'd be miserable, but you know what, you did it to yourself. Totally. You know what I mean? Like, and nobody, I don't have any like sorrow or remorse for anybody who like is
no pity.
Yeah, no pity. Like, if you're gonna go out and party, like, then, and you got to work in the morning, like, it's your responsibility. You got to like decide what's more important, and you know, so if you can't, then you don't belong.
What's Curtis Shaver's most favorite aspect about being a chef? Is it the ladies?
No.
Come on. No, you gotta admit though, as a chef though, I mean, how easy for you? Okay, and you're in a great relationship. Love Bailey to death. Bailey, I love you to death. You hear me? I'm talking to you. I love you, Bailey. Got nothing but love for you, Bailey. But how easy is it for you as an executive chef with the ladies?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's easy.
Oh, come on now.
I wouldn't say it's easy.